Today I'm going to be answering some questions that I've received in my inbox on TikTok and on LinkedIn. So without wasting any time, let's get straight into it.
Is the money in the Big Four worth the hard work? Someone told me they don't pay and they say it's toxic. I'd like to think not all departments are toxic, hey?
Big four firms don't pay that great, unfortunately. Industry will definitely always pay better than big four firms. Well, at least in South Africa and at least in the field that I'm in, which is IT audit. I think they pay fairly though. You're definitely not going to go hungry, but it's not generally great and usually doesn't come with major benefits. The hard work is definitely worth the experience though, and what that experience will do for you. So just to give you a bit of context, when I started working at Deloitte 10 years ago, I was making about 200 and something thousand a year with no benefits. And when I left for EY 5 years later, I was making 660 per year. And I think the only benefits that I had were like a 1.5 for gym and about 9K for a cell phone. And that's it. But at my current job right now, I get way more than that. And my employer pays most of my medical aid and they also contribute towards my pension. I think it doubled in a period of a year. And I have more leave days than I had at the firms and other benefits that are not necessarily quantified at the moment, like being able to do courses or anything like that, any trainings that I want to do, and also being able to go to conferences as well. The toxicity one, I would say that is very subjective. I think that mostly depends on the people that you're working with and also who you're reporting to. My experience with managers has mostly been good. I've had really great managers over the period of my career. I can just maybe count a few instances maybe where I worked with somebody who wasn't really that great to work with. But for the most part, I think I've always worked with really good people. So basically the answer will differ depending on who you ask.
Is it better to start at a Big Four firm, then move to industry?
Absolutely. I think the biggest advantage of starting your career in a big four firm is the fact that the training is really good. So you get a proper foundation and the work is also fast paced. So you learn quickly and you grow quickly as well. For me, now that I'm actually in the public sector, I have an even bigger appreciation for where I started because I can clearly see the impact on your career when you don't have proper training. Or the training you get will affect the trajectory of your career. Another thing that's great about starting at a big four firm is that it actually opens doors for you. It gives you credibility because people also trust in the training that you got at these firms. Sometimes I come across job ads and some of them will literally specify big four experience, even though they themselves are not a big four firm. So it really does affect how far you can go. It affects your career. It affects the jobs that you can work even long after you leave the environment.
How did you prepare for graduate program applications?
I wouldn't necessarily say that I prepared for those applications. I think for me, when I was applying during my honors year and even after that, I was just applying for anything I could find. Whether it was a graduate program or just a junior level position, I was just applying. And I was mostly just using Indeed and Peanut. Just use the big application portals and you can literally find the jobs that you're looking for. And if you have specific companies that you want to work for, you can also just monitor their websites as well.
What made your CV stand out?
I think I showed my CV in the first career series video that I made. And it was pretty basic and very much straightforward. I think when I look at it now, what I see is that it was very easy to read. It was short, it was just 2 pages long, and my references were also included in there. And it also showed my passion for IT in my profile, where I described myself and what I want to achieve. And another thing is that I could map skills to my experience. So the only job I had ever done was being a student assistant. And I was able to elaborate on what skills I was getting from that role that I was doing. And I think that's something that's still very much relevant today and still matters today. I remember when my boss used to ask for CVs and we would send CVs, one of the biggest complaints about some of the CVs was that they were not really specific to IT. The CV would be talking about something totally different from the job. I had a similar experience when I was hiring last year where I looked at somebody who was passionate about accounting and they just went on and on about that in their CV, but the job that they're applying for is an IT audit assistant manager. So it wasn't aligning. So I think that's one of the crucial things when it comes to CVs as well to just look out for, that it's actually talking to what you're applying for. And always make sure that your skills are aligned to the skills that would make you a really good fit for that job that you're applying for. If it's a job that you're going to be talking to people a lot, then communication is one of those skills that need to show up in some way on your CV.
Were there any skills, projects, internships, or extracurricular activities that you would recommend I focus on while I still have time?
So I never did any extracurricular activities. I didn't do any vacation work. I didn't do internships. I didn't do sports, nothing of the sort. But I think one of the skills that I can actually advise anybody to actually work on is the skill of articulating yourself. I think we all know that sometimes people are actually good at something, but because they fail to articulate themselves in an interview, they still don't get the job. So I think that's one thing that's really good to work on. It's how you communicate and being able to communicate well. So if you have any challenges communicating, whether verbally or even written, this is the time to work on it. And it's also good to make yourself stand out as well by taking maybe some short free courses just to show that you have an interest in the subject matter, which is IT.
Did you ever struggle or doubt yourself during your degree, especially with programming modules?
Only every day. When I started computer science in university, it was the first time in my life I had ever seen code. So it was totally new to me, and it was very difficult for me to adapt to that and to learn. And also because the way that things are taught in university is not like in a classroom, you know? And I think lecturers used to come into the room with that expectation that we have done this in school already, and I hadn't. So I think I actually only started to understand maybe in third year, like proper programming. And in fact, I actually almost dropped out when I was in first year. My mom had to actually have an intervention for me with a family friend and convince me to actually continue with my degree. And I'm actually really grateful that I completed the degree. To this day, I'm still not that great at programming, but I don't actually program in my day-to-day job, so that's fine. I still remember when I went to a company to do an assessment, because when you apply for programming jobs, you actually have to go and solve a problem. And I remember I had no idea what to do at this assessment. I didn't know where to start. I really could not solve the problem. So I literally packed my things and left. So I'm actually grateful that I ended up at Deloitte because I was clearly not going to make it as a developer.
Looking back, is there anything you wish you had done differently as a student?
Yes. I wish I had asked for help more. And I wish that I had applied myself more as well. I think that I could have done better in terms of results. My average when I completed was 64, and I definitely think that I could have done way better than that. I feel like for the longest time I was always going through something when I was in university, so it actually affected my ability to fully show up as well. But at the same time, I hated studying, so I don't know.
How do students usually break into vacation work or job shadowing in IT audit?
So vacation work, like graduate programs, gets advertised on job portals and also on company websites. So you can look for them similar to how you would look for graduate programs or any other jobs.
Please assist me with advice or tips on how to prepare for the Deloitte Assessment Center Day.
For me, I didn't actually really prepare for the assessment day. And I'm two ways about it, whether you actually need to prepare or not, because you don't really know what's going to be asked. You don't know what activities you're really going to do. But most of the times they are focused on group activities. They might want you to do a presentation as well. You might also be an audience to a presentation during those sessions as well. But I think that maybe the main key thing that you can do is just prepare like an elevator pitch about yourself, just how to answer a short question about who you are and your aspirations or things like that. But for the most part, I don't think you can prepare for the group activities, but maybe you can just know that there's potentially going to be group activities. The key thing with these things is collaborate. Just show that you're capable of working in a team and also ask questions and engage. So when you get there, greet everybody. Just be overall positive and engaging. Because the key thing is for you to be memorable. Because at the point at which you're invited, your qualifications are not in question anymore. They're just trying to assess whether you're going to be a good fit for the team and whether you can potentially do the job or not. So you need to be confident and articulate yourself well.
How does the referral process work?
So when it comes to big four firms, the referral process is typically just you giving your CV to somebody who works at the company and then asking them to actually upload it for the specific job that you want. So it's almost like they're doing the application on your behalf and referring you for the job on the job portal from an internal perspective. Okay. Now, I recently learned when my sister was actually trying to do a referral for somebody else this year that it doesn't work if you have already applied for the job. So the portal will not allow somebody to refer you if you already applied. Okay. And then also sometimes the way that it works is that people actually ask for CVs. I know that my boss used to do that. She used to ask us to send her CVs. So that's how it works some of the time as well. Just somebody giving your CV to the director. And then I think with the banking ones, when I did my F&B application, I actually just had to enter my friend's details. I think it was just her work email address that was needed as part of my actual application on their Workday portal. But I know that not all companies actually take referrals, but where they do, take advantage of that. I hope this was helpful. Let me know if you have any additional questions. You can put them in the chat and maybe I can do a part two, as this was not everything, but just part of the questions that I've received.